No criminal charges filed, yet this mom is heading out on a date after allegedly throwing her baby out the window. Mike Gottlieb, criminal defense attorney. Let's talk about the date for just a moment here. If she ever gets charged in this case, how do you explain that to a jury?
Well, I'm going to defer to the doctor that we just heard from. It sounds like this was a woman who is operating under an active psychosis at the time. She has no attachment to the baby. She's living in sort of a fantasy world. It sounds like a classic case of insanity, somebody who doesn't appreciate the consequences of their actions, somebody who doesn't know right from wrong. I mean, you simply wouldn't go out on a date. It doesn't make sense. It's illogical. It's insane to go out on a date immediately after giving birth, whether the baby's alive or dead. It just doesn't make sense, and I think the doctor's right. This was a woman acting under an active psychosis.
We go to Oakland, California. 21-month-old Daphne Webb left with grandma in a Ford SUV while her father heads into a store. He comes back, and little Daphne's gone, kidnapped from her car seat. But the family reportedly says they haven't seen the baby girl for 2 weeks before she's reported missing. So where is baby Daphne? Let's bring in Mike Gottlieb, defense attorney. He is not a suspect at this moment. What would you advise him, though, if he came to you and said, listen, my child's missing? He should cooperate fully, right? He's not a suspect.
But, you know, it's always, of course, he's not a suspect, but it's always difficult to cooperate with the police when you might become a suspect and nobody knows what's going to happen to him. So, you know, I'm always of I always feel that we should give the best advice. The best advice is to keep quiet, assert your Fifth Amendment privilege, your right to remain silent, cooperate with the police, but to a point, because there's going to come a point in time where somebody's going to want to twist and turn your story, just as we heard that he parked in a convenient place where there's no cameras. Well, how do we know that he knew that there was a convenient place with no cameras? So I think it's very difficult. You want to be cooperative, but to a point. You want to keep your mouth shut.
A patient rushed to the ER, overdosed on heroin. There's just one problem. The patient is only 4 years old. Cops say his own father, angry over a divorce, injects the little boy in the neck with a deadly heroin cocktail. That father now facing attempted first-degree murder charges. Mike Gottlieb, I just want to go to you, and Mark, Lonnie, and I are all going to listen very closely to what you have to say here. I mean, do you see any defense for this man?
Yeah, absolutely. We see cases like this all the time where individuals have, you know, he's probably got a bipolar disorder or a chronic depressive disorder, anxiety over perhaps losing his child. He's clearly self-medicating with a cocktail of different drugs. I heard ketamine, cocaine, heroin. I don't know how anybody can say that this is a person who's in their right state of mind. First of all, if he's diagnosed with a major mental health disorder and he's self-medicating, I'm suspect that he could, there's no way that he knows the difference between right and wrong, the nature and the consequences of his actions. I do understand that it's somewhat goal-directed and that argues against insanity, but there's just no way, given the nature of the family law case, as you were saying, the high emotions, the depression, the long-standing drug history, I don't think he was in his right frame of mind. Absolutely not.